I want to start off by, offering condolences to the family on behalf of the Southfield Police Department. These things are not easy on the families, certainly not easy on the department either. We form a bond with families, particularly our detectives. It becomes a really intimate relationship as relates to expectations of the police department to solve crimes and hold individuals accountable. I will express sincere appreciation to the family, particularly Mrs. Clora. I did have an opportunity to speak with her on yesterday, and what I would tell you about Mrs. Clora, she exudes strength. She's also a forgiving person. And you can see with the representation of the family here today, Mr. Clora was loved.
Yes.
Let me say it again, he was loved.
Yes.
And this should not have happened. And so I want to start off by, again, acknowledging the media. A lot of concerns came in, a lot of calls came in from the media wanting updates. So I want to thank you for your patience. As you know, when we have a suspect that's on the run, it's important to allow time for the department to use our surveillance operations, our great detective work, and then to track down suspects, try to make contact with the suspects' families as well, so we can resolve these things without any unnecessary conflict or any further injuries. So our victim in this case is Mr. Eddie Clora, 61 years old, resident of the city of Southfield. Our suspect is Gregory Clark, 66 years old, resident of the city of Detroit. And what I will tell you is that these two have been friends, what I'm told, for decades. So this should not have happened. Again, friends for decades. This should not have happened. On Saturday, April 12th, at approximately 9:30 p.m., Southfield officers were dispatched to the 22,000 block of West 8 Mile at the BP gas station on a report of a man who appeared to have been stabbed and in need of medical assistance. Southfield officers arrived on scene at approximately 9:33 p.m., followed by Southfield paramedics, and immediately began life-saving measures. The officers observed the victim leaning up against the gas pump. He stated to the officers, "My buddy's stabbed." Certainly, he wasn't able to complete his sentence as he was at a loss of breath, but he was transmitting to our officers that his buddy had stabbed him. At which time the officers did observe injuries to the left side of his head. After further examination, Southfield officers, along with Southfield paramedics, observed what appeared to be puncture wound to the left side of his chest. The victim was asked where the incident took place, and he responded by saying, "Right here," and pointed to the direction of the altercation. He was unable to elaborate any further due to his injuries, and he was transported to the hospital where he unfortunately succumbed to his injuries. The suspect, Gregory Clark, fled the scene prior to the officer's arrival. So we begin our detective work. Certainly our detectives initiated an investigation. They were able to retrieve surveillance video from the gas station as well as cell phone video from a witness. The evidence revealed that approximately 9:21 p.m., the victim, Mr. Clora, is observed pulling into the BP gas station, driving his 2018 Chevy Malibu. He's observed exiting the driver's side of his vehicle and walks around to the right front passenger seat and opens the door and removes the suspect from the vehicle. They begin arguing with each other outside of the vehicle. The victim yells out, "You're going to stick me." So he's articulating that either the suspect threatened to stab him or maybe brandished a knife at that time. The suspect then strikes our victim in the head with what appears to be a glass bottle. The victim punches the suspect, causing the suspect to fall to the ground, and the victim gets on top of him, trying to what appear to be control the knife that we're going to show you when we show some stills. However, the suspect was able to stab our victim, Mr. Clora, in the head, and alternately, a bystander attempted to separate the two. When that bystander separated them, Mr. Clora became in an upright position, which exposed his torso, and our suspect did stab him in the chest area ultimately near the heart, which would prove to be the fatal wound. The witness who recorded the altercation did post this on social media. However, it was removed from social media out of respect for the family and our victim. So Southfield officers, we were able to activate our tactical crime suppression unit. I've spoke about this unit many times, being our surveillance unit that goes out and looks for suspects who are on the run. Members of that unit conducted surveillance operations for approximately 3 days. During that process, they were able to make contact with the family members of our suspect, and they were able to provide the family with a phone number and encouraging him to contact us to surrender. After several days of hiding, the suspect did contact the sergeant of the unit and ultimately turned himself in at midnight on Wednesday, April 16th. We met him at the Comfort Suites located at 24977 Northwestern Highway, where he was taken to custody without incident. When you look at the criminal history of the suspect, he did not have a criminal history, also referred to as a CCH. The Oakland County prosecutor did issue charges. He was charged with homicide, manslaughter. He has a bond set at $500,000, cash surety 10%. His next court date will be May 1st at 8:30. So the detectives were able to again, work with the prosecutor's office to present the information and ultimately come up with a charging decision. At this time, I'm going to show you the evidence collected at the scene by way of the video, and I'm going to walk over so that this makes sense to you. Highlighted here is the bottle that the suspect struck our victim with that bottle. So he was a victim of a felonious assault, which kicked off the fighting. The next still shows the knife was now introduced into that confrontation. Another still of the knife. And then you'll see more evidence of that knife being involved in the altercation. Out of respect for the family, I'm sure you would agree with this. Out of respect for the family, we did not want to show the actual video of the incident because it would be too disturbing for the family. And so I just want to, again, offer our condolences to the family. Mrs. Clora, as stated, is here. She would be willing to take a few questions. However, it would take place after the press conference, and she does not want to be on video. No photos, no video on video, but she would take a few questions. And at this time, I'll open up the floor for questions from me and maybe some of the family members who may want to speak as well.
What led to the argument, if you know?
That's unknown exactly what transpired, the chain of events. The suspect is not speaking. At this time, he did obtain a lawyer, so he will be the only one that will be able to give us that information, because the argument took place inside of the vehicle, and none of the witnesses was able to gather what that argument was about.
Are you able to share, you mentioned decades-long relationship, what they may have been doing that night? Had they been going out? Had they routinely gone out as friends? I mean, can you give some context?
Yeah, our evidence suggests they are friends, and even at night they were hanging out with each other. And then, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the argument developed ultimately this altercation.
Chief, what stands out about this case to you?
Well, it's painful, hurtful, when you learn that these individuals have been friends for decades. That tells me at a very young age that they were friends, and then for it to end this way. We talk about arguments. We get into arguments all the time with our friends and loved ones, and sometimes there's conflict. But to introduce first a bottle and then to introduce a knife into the argument is unacceptable. And so that's what stands out to me. How can you love someone close friend, and then as a result of an argument, you make a decision to introduce weapons to the scenario.
And then I had a question for family. Could you tell me what was Eddie like as a person?
Come on up, man.
Yes, thank you.
Can you share your full name again, please?
Yes, my name is Rhonda Michelle Clora Wilson. I am a year older than Eddie. We're the last two of our mother and father's 9 children. So what was Eddie like? He was a great husband. He loved his wife dearly. They've been married over 35 years. Great father to his 5 children, 6 grandchildren. We have experienced a huge loss. This was not supposed to happen to our brother. We are mad about it. We are torn apart as a family. Everybody is at a loss. We have experienced a huge loss. Eddie was the life of the family. He lit a dim room wherever he went. He liked to serve. He liked to cook. He liked to be the person to set up the room for the family events. All the kids loved him. He made it his business to check on all the family members. If he took a whole Saturday driving around to find family members that he had not been in touch with, that's what he did. He kept us together. He loved our family, his children, his grandchildren. That's their pawpaw. This man, Eddie, what saddens us the most after experiencing his death, he called this guy his friend. What kind of friend would do this? That's not a friend. We have to be so careful who we invite into our lives and our personal space. Who would have thought my brother would be fighting for his life inside his vehicle and outside at a gas station? Eddie was everything to us. He loved his family. He's about family and friends. He loved his pastor, our church. He served selflessly. It just didn't matter. You called upon him. He was the cook in the family, the brother that cooked the ribs, the chickens, the greens, the beans, you name it. He was there. And we have experienced a huge, huge loss. He hugged us, he kissed us, he told us every time he saw us, I love you. I don't care what the circumstances is. I love you. I love you. I love you. And out of Eddie's mouth, after it was all said and done, these were his words all the time. God is good all the time. And again, I just pray, we thank the Southfield Police Department with all our hearts for handling this case, apprehending this suspect swiftly, and thankfully we're getting justice for Eddie. So many families are not able to receive justice for whatever reason. We're getting justice for Eddie, and we are so thankful and so grateful to this team that worked tirelessly, and we're just thankful. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, especially somebody Eddie called a friend. A friend. The irony in this is that, again, Eddie and I are a year apart. We share most of the same friends from childhood. I never knew this guy, but I have heard from mutual friends of ours, yeah, he was a mechanic in the neighborhood. We've known this guy for years. I didn't know him. His face it's a blank when I look at the picture. I'm at a loss for words about him being Eddie's friend. But Eddie called him his friend, and again, we have to be careful who we consider friends. He turned out to be a foe. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I want to say something. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Williams, and I've been knowing Eddie for about 45 years. And I had recently reconnected with him, and I go out at night a lot. But Eddie, he would always say, hey, man, I got my grandkids, I'm going in early. And he never really hung out with us. I was like, wow. But he made sure of his grandson and all these, make sure they safe every day. So, and he always came across, I guess I was telling Rhonda, he might have thought I was one of his brothers, because my name is Sam. And he always, when he see me, I don't know if he even knew I knew his sister Rhonda, but he'd always give me an extra, because my name is Sam, and I don't know if I favored him or what, you know what I mean? But I just miss him. We went bowling last time I was here 3 months ago. We had a wonderful time. Just miss him, you know. So I know his heart, he didn't deserve nothing like this. So that's what I have to say. Thanks everyone for showing up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
You know, this is time that the family needs to grieve. You know, express to the community, express to the media what their loved one means to them. So we appreciate the media covering this, giving them that opportunity to grieve and again share their thoughts on their loved one. Any other questions?
Just what the suspect did for 2-3 days. As you mentioned, he ended up, the phone number, people called to encourage him to turn himself in to the hotel. Do you know what he did for 3 days?
Well, according to our investigation, he did flee to Detroit, where he attempted to get some type of coverage from family members, what we learned, but they rejected assisting him. And at that point, we believe he fled to the hotel and then was hiding there until ultimately we came in contact with him.
Did any of those family members reach out to police?
Yes, once that communication occurred, again, we were able to provide numbers for the family members to encourage our suspect to turn himself in. And again, after 3 days of surveillance and him being on the run, ultimately he turned himself in without any conflict. Yes, sir.
He was the one that called police?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
A 66-year-old man without much of a record murdered someone that he'd known for decades. What does that say to you, Chief?
Well, it's what I've been saying for a very long time. When it comes to altercations, oftentimes we talk about guns and emotion. In this case, a different type of weapon, a knife and emotion, now injected into a confrontation. And then out of that emotion, someone is unfortunately injured. And so we got to just continue to manage our emotions, love one another, and have patience. Again, arguments happen, but walk away. Walk away. Violence is not the answer. It's not the answer.
Are there any photos of Eddie, the victim?
Well, maybe the family may want to share some photos of Mr. Clora at the conclusion of the press conference. Yes.
We had heard a 911 call prior, being queued up. Who made the call to police when this happened?
So during the time of the incident, and I'm glad you brought that up because I do want to acknowledge the Detroit Police Department as well, because right there at 8 Mile in Lasher, that is the border of Detroit and Southfield. And across the street, the Detroit Police Department were investigating a complaint of juveniles at the skating arena causing a disturbance. So when the assault occurred, many of the witnesses were able to not only call 911, but also flag down Detroit to come over and help stabilize the scene. So we arrived at closely the same proximity as Southfield officers were already in the general area, but again, thanking them for providing assistance as well. But yes, between the witnesses who were at the gas station and also alerting Detroit and call 911, we were able to get a quick response.
So forgive me, it was witnesses at the gas station that also called 911?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Like customers or clerks?
Customers.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the altercation developed. Again, if we would have showed the video, you would have saw a crowd of people who were watching, who were patrons of the store, and also people walking past who stopped and then began to watch. Ultimately, they got involved by trying to separate the two. But again, the assault took place at that time. Yeah.
Was the person that intervened injured at all?
No, no one else injured other than our victim, Mr. Clora.
The suspect who's not speaking is being uncooperative right now?
Yes, he's uncooperative at this point. He did retain an attorney and is not speaking at this time. However, I did learn that at his arraignment, he did offer a guilty plea. All right. Well, thank you all for your patience, and thank you for being respectful of the family. We really appreciate that.